And I want to thank my spiritual son, who has been my spiritual son for about 25 years. He's a model son. And Prophet was at his church, and he called me up and said, "Come on, let's go to lunch." And so we went out to lunch. We didn't talk about too much spiritual stuff, because I don't know that much about spiritual things. So we didn't talk too much about spiritual stuff. We just talked and laughed and do everything that we call unholy. That's what we did in the conversation. Nobody tut. None of that was going on. We just had a down-to-earth dialogue. And from that conversation, the invitation came to be here. Thank you, Bishop Clark. Stand up. This is my son. He came. He drove from Cleveland, Ohio, got in this morning just to make sure I would be okay. And I appreciate that so much. I was listening to the brethren in their introductory remarks, and obviously to me, this college is going to be a diversity of ideas. Because in listening to them, already my ideas are very different from especially Bishop Bloomer, Bishop Bloomer. Pardon me, forgive me, Bishop Bloomer. And, he's not traditional in his thinking. I'm more traditional in my thinking. But the dialogue was very interesting to me. And I said, oh my God, we're in trouble already. But I want to talk because I'm going to say some things that won't be too spiritual, won't sound spiritual, and it will sound like I'm almost the forerunner of the Antichrist. Because meetings like this, and I'm not talking about this meeting specifically, but I have found over the years to be a waste of time. Because we come and just regurgitate the same stuff that we know over and over and over and over again. And we never get to anything that is substantive that can impact our ministry, build it, or destroy it. I thank God for the things that are being uncovered and unearthed today. But I'm dealing with people in ministry who are losing their churches. They don't have money. They're trying to build with no money. They don't have any business savvy. They don't have any ability to reconcile books or just a whole lot of things that it's one thing to speak in tongues to each other, but when you get in front of the IRS, it's a different ball game altogether. And just so we can have a point of reference, I'm going to give you a couple scriptures that the Lord gave me this morning that will help you understand where I'm coming from. In life, there is such things as the impossibility or the inability of certain things to coexist with each other. There are things in life that just do not belong together and should never, ever be tried to be a correlating composite of each other. Let me give you an example, just so you'll know where I'm going. For example, life and death. They cannot coexist. Impossible. It's either alive or it's dead. It cannot be a combination of the two because they are diametrically opposed to each other. War and peace. You can't have war and peace at the same time. You know? Now, blessed are the peacemakers. Well, how do you become a peacemaker? You have to cause war before you have peace. And it's two different things, but they cannot coexist at the same time, simultaneously. Noise and silence. Impossible to have silence while you're having noise. Wisdom and folly. The truth and a lie. John 8:44 says, you people are from your father the devil, and you want to do what your father desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not uphold the truth because there's no truth in him. No truth in him. So you can't have a lie and truth coexisting in the same entity. Whenever he lies, he speaks according to his own nature because he is a liar and the father lies. And so it's impossible for some things to coexist simultaneously with each other at the same time. Impossible. 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 Cannot. No pueda. Cannot. 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 James discovered that when he asked the question, can both fresh water and bitter water flow from the same spring? Can a fig tree grow olives? Or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a salt spring produce fresh water. In nature, let me repeat quickly, that there are certain things that cannot coexist with each other. Agreed? Okay. The marvel is, in the church, ministry knows how to do the impossible. We know how to make things that should not coexist. And we accept it as the norm. Let me give you an example. 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 1. Now, a wife of one of the prophets appealed to Elisha for help, saying, your servant, my husband, is dead. You know that your servant was a loyal follower of the Lord. Now the creditor is coming to take away my 2 boys to be his servants.